Hey guys! So we are here for our birth story and I'm super excited to be filming this. It's gonna be long, but I have lots of live footage from the birth, from going to the hospital and afterwards. So just keep watching. This was super fun to make and she's excited to be in it, aren't you? Aren't you? Ooh! So I went to my 40-week appointment just to check everything out, make sure everything was going okay, and we did the Doppler to check her heartbeat and her heart rate, and things just didn't sound right. Usually, her heart rate was around the 150s. Oh yeah? It's usually around the 150s and pretty regular. Like, I remember what her heart normally sounds like. So we went and I heard her heartbeat, and it just didn't sound right to me. And the midwife kind of asked me, she was like, is this normally what it sounds like? And I was like, no. It was kind of like boom, 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 boom. Or like, it was just irregular. So she ordered an ultrasound, like an emergency ultrasound. And I went right over to the hospital to get an ultrasound done. The ultrasound tech did everything, didn't really say anything, kind of like normal. And it took about 45 minutes, which I know it's normally supposed to take 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know what it's actually called, but they're getting a score out of, I believe, 10 to kind of check what the baby's doing, if the baby's still okay in there or if not. Normally, if you're going to go to 42 weeks potentially, at your 41st week, they do this to check on the baby. She was not able to get Grayson breathing, and she was able to see her heart and everything, but we didn't see her breathe in any of the amniotic fluid during the whole ultrasound. So the doctor came in, and it was actually a doctor and I guess a doctoral student, and she basically said Grayson got a 2 out of 10. Basically, she missed 8 of the markers of a healthy fetus. Or is she even a fetus at that point? Basically, she missed 8 of the markers of being healthy and okay in my stomach. So they explained to me that she had an arrhythmia, a premature atrial contraction, PAC. Basically, part of her heart was contracting before the other part was ready to suck all of the blood in, if that makes any sense. So that wasn't great. She didn't breathe in the whole 45-minute period. She didn't breathe any amniotic fluid in. And I actually had very little to none amniotic fluid. And they also thought that she was under 6 pounds, which I'm a larger human being. I'm 5'8". My husband is 6'6" and a larger human being. So naturally, larger human beings normally have larger children. So they were very worried that she was way too tiny, and basically she was not diagnosed as failure to thrive, but they were worried that she just was not doing well in there. So she told me, okay, you have 2 hours to go get your stuff at home, grab your husband, and come back for an induction. And of course, at that point, everything had been such a whirlwind, because to be honest, I did not think that that day was the day I was going to be induced. I thought I was still going to be able to have my natural water birth that I had been planning and wanting, but I ended up having to go into the hospital. What do you think about that? So, I call my husband, I call my mom. Of course, I'm hysterical, so it took me a while once I got into the car to kind of calm down enough to drive home. But got home, we packed everything. I ate pizza from Trader Joe's for my last meal, and I did get to speak with both my doula and my midwife. So my midwife was still able to come and deliver me at the hospital. They have, I guess, they're certified there as well. So it was nice that I didn't have to, have a totally new doctor, whole new care team. I could still use my regular care team. Hey guys, so we are on our way to the hospital for an induction, which is totally not planned. This is my 40-week due date day.
Today's the due date.
Today is the due date. It is 7:30 at night. I
will try to update you better later because we're almost to the hospital. I think you go up to the next slide. I feel like I'm dreaming. Okay, so we're in the hospital. I'm plugged up and monitored up. This bed feels like I'm laying on a concrete floor. Okay, what else? I'm 3 centimeters, 70% effaced, and I just had to take a dose of Cytotec. And I'm contracting. It feels like the worst period I've ever had in my life. That's it. Can't think of anything else. They say I'm supposed to rest, and I think that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
They started me on Cytotec. I ended up being put on 4 rounds of Cytotec, which I believe, things are a little hazy, I believe it was every 4 hours they came in and I had to take another pill. I don't know what dose or anything like that. We did 4 rounds of that, and I was checked, and I was still 3 centimeters, but she was now at a 0 station, which I believe is when she's like right at your hips. Then we had a talk, and Pitocin was the next route. It was around lunchtime on the next day, the 1st, and they started me on Pitocin. I labored on Pitocin for about 16 hours, and that is when I would say about the last 2 hours of that is when it got intense. And I had gone to birthing classes, learned about what it feels to be in transition, and I was full blown in transition. I sort of remember what was going on, but I was fully in my head. You know, I was not talking. I was just focusing so hard on, you know, breathing through my contractions. My contractions had picked up in intensity and frequency, and I was like, dang, like I am at like 8 centimeters right now. This baby is coming within the next few hours. Like, I can do this. And I'll probably do a video about laboring naturally and what it felt like. But to summarize, I think in my head, I thought that it was going to feel like I was going to die, and it did not. It was very manageable pain. It was not fun by any means, and I would say it was probably like one of the most painful things I've ever experienced. But it was a weird, I would kind of equate it to, it starts off as really bad period pains, and then people have said it feels like a chainsaw, and that's not true. It is just a very intense feeling, but like in your mind, you know you're getting something amazing out of it, and it's almost like getting a tattoo. I don't, like, not the same kind of pain, but like, you can do it. Like, you know, there's an end in sight. There's a reason it's hurting. There's nothing wrong. It's just hurting. And just like kind of more just sharp and achy pains all at the same time. Because of her low score from the ultrasound, I had to be constantly on monitors. And for some reason, they tried the regular monitor that straps around your belly. They tried a wireless monitor that kind of sticks to your belly. Neither of them were working. I don't know the exact reason. It was potentially her position, but they would not pick her up unless I was laying flat on my back. So that made my labor really, really difficult.
Everyone else is sleeping, and I just have to express the fetal monitor on my stomach is driving me insane. Like, I cannot get comfortable in this concrete bed, and the monitor will not stay at work, so the nurse keeps coming in. It's just really frustrating because I know monitoring her is really important. the position she's in. And
after I labored for 16 hours on Pitocin with them increasing it and then getting through the transition period, I will say during the transition period I shook a lot. Like, I was just constantly like shaking, and it was like I had no control over my body. It was basically an out-of-body experience. But then she came and checked me, and I told everyone that I didn't want to be checked. Something told me, I was like, I'm in a good mindset, you know, I just didn't want to know, you know, but it was time to get checked. Most hospitals, I believe, at this point would potentially be forcing you to get a C-section because of failure to progress, but my midwife was just hell-bent on letting me do this as naturally as I possibly could, as long as myself and Grayson were doing fine on the monitor and in no distress. So, then I got checked, and I'm still 3 centimeters, and she was at a +2, so she was like, she said +2 or +3, like she was like trying to come out, basically. She was ready to go, and she checked, and she noticed, I guess because she was really like, her head was really like pushing down on it, she was like, you have some scar tissue that's not breaking up. I actually had scar tissue from a colposcopy that I had gotten back in college, and no one had ever said anything to me about it. No one ever thought it would be an issue, but she told me that my scar tissue was not letting me progress. It was not letting me go past 3 centimeters, and that she needed to break up the scar tissue. Now, through labor, she had done a membrane sweep twice, and that freaking hurt. Like, I did not scream, but it hurt so bad. I mean, if you can imagine getting scar tissue on your cervix broken apart with someone's fingers, wow. So I talked it over with her, talked it over with my doula and my husband for probably 30 minutes. He ultimately decided that it was time for an epidural. I had a fear that because of all that pain and the fact that I hadn't slept in 30 hours, that I might not be able to handle it. I was scared I would maybe pass out, and then I was also scared of potentially needing a C-section and not already having the epidural in, because then they might have to do like general anesthesia. Just all these things were going through my mind, and I was worried that if I need to keep laboring, I don't know if I could handle another 12 or 18 hours of laboring through this pain. I think I need some help. And she kind of was like, hey, you had your plan, and this is the opposite of your plan. You know, you had no idea you were going to end up in this position, so I think you're making a great decision. And looking back, of course, I kind of wish I could have tried to do it. I think I made the right decision for her. You know, without being selfishly wanting to have my dream of a natural birth happen. I had to get the bag of fluids, which took an hour. Then I got the epidural, which didn't hurt at all. So if anyone ever tells you that it hurts, it doesn't. Like, you are hyping yourself up for nothing. It feels like nothing. Like, maybe the little stick of the numbing hurts like a little bit like a shot. Don't psych yourself out. So got that. Then it started working, and it only worked on one side of my body. So the right side, I could feel everything. The left side, I couldn't. They tried positioning me and all this stuff. Didn't work. So half of me was numb, half was not. I could still move my leg, so they would call it a walking epidural. So she came in, broke me up. I was automatically 9 centimeters once she broke me up. I kind of rested while I progressed for about an hour. And everyone around me got to take a little nap. I was still in pain, but it was nowhere close. It was really strange kind of feeling it on one side. But then she came in, and I was like ready. I kind of told them, like, I'm feeling pressure, like it's time. She came in, I was 10 centimeters and ready to go, and Grayson was ready to go. Then everything got set up. The neonatal like specialist cardiologist or something came because of the problem she was having, and it like happened so fast. So everyone came in. I pushed for about 20 to 30 minutes, probably closer to 30 minutes. Okay, so in the beginning of pushing, I honestly in my head I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this. You know, I don't know how long this is going to take, and I don't know if I can, you know, fully push her out. Like, I have to figure it out. And then I like said a prayer, and I was just like, Lord, give me the strength to push this baby out. Everyone around me, like my husband was like, what happened? Because I got this just like strength, and I started just power pushing. Like my midwife was like, whoa girl, like where'd that come from? Because I just got this like immense strength. Like I was gonna get this baby out because I knew like I had to do this for her. And I was also kind of thinking the crappier my pushes are, the longer this is going to last. So like just freaking get her out. So I pushed, and I think once everything was kind of going in, it really didn't take very long, and she came out looking like a total little cone head, and I have footage of that. I have footage of a few things. I obviously can't show, or don't care to show, the parts of my downstairs or anything, but I do have some footage.
Go, 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 go.
That's it.
A little bit more. Go, go, go.
Keep it. Hold your breath. Deep breath. Go back in.
Hold it in.
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold that breath. Push down to your bottom. There you go.
Go, 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 go.
That's
There.
it. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. All right. Take quick breath. Quick. There you go.
Little more.
There you go.
Little more, little more, little more, little more. Perfect. Yeah,
Come
you
here.
can.
Come on. Come on. One more.
Go, 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 go bigger.
Go, go,
Right
go,
in your
go,
bottom.
go,
Push
go, go.
right in your bottom. Right there. Push right there. Come and push, 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 push. Go, 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 go.
Hold it in, Ashley.
Go, go, go,
Come
go,
on.
go, go, go,
Keep
go,
it
go,
in.
go, go.
Push
That's
that baby
good.
down.
That's good. A little bit more.
You can do it, Ashley. You can deep breath. Come on.
Hold it. Hold it.
Hold it.
Keep holding
Hold
it.
it.
Keep holding it.
No,
Go,
go,
go, go, go, go, go, go. Good job.
And again, come on, deep breath.
Go,
Go.
go, 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 go. A little bit more.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. You can do it. Come on, come on, come on.
You're so close.
Come on, come on.
A little bit more.
Through that pain and pressure.
Go, 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 go.
Right into
Go,
it.
go, go.
Go, go, go. Ashley, there she is. Hello, big girl. Welcome to the world. All right, baby girl. There you go.
Hey, there she is. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, she got my nose.
I want you to cry. I know you don't want to, and you just worked really hard.
Right back to me.
Hey, you're a cutie pie.
Hi,
Gracie, Grayson Joe.
Open up your lip. I'm sorry. Sorry, princess.
She was 7'4". Is that?
Yeah.
Oh. 7'4".
She was born 7 pounds 4 ounces and 20 inches long, so she was not what they thought she was from the ultrasound, which is a very common thing. She was perfectly average sized and perfectly cute and healthy. After she came out, then came the placenta. That just felt like a lot of pressure. Like afterwards I felt like it wasn't done. I couldn't breathe that sigh of relief, but once that came out, it was like, oh, I felt like a human again. Her arrhythmia was resolved at birth. They did say sometimes by like being squeezed out of the birth canal, it kind of resets their heart rhythm, and that's what happened to her.
Her eyes are closed and she's just digging it right now. She's like falling asleep doing this.
We just stayed at the hospital the next day. I don't think I've ever been that sore in my life. It felt like I went to the gym and worked out every muscle on my whole entire body. I was just sore, but so happy. And breastfeeding was hard as heck, but I'll probably do a video about that too. But things are fine now because I've got this chunky little bear. Rah, 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 rah. Yeah, so that is our birth story. Let me know if y'all have questions. I'm sure I forgot things. She is now 11 weeks old, and that's how long it took for me to honestly watch the footage. I was so scared. I have plenty of videos of updates, like postpartum and little baby updates, and I'll be editing and posting them soon. And if you have any video requests or anything like that, let us know below. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Bye. Boop, boop.